very clear from Christ's ministry here on earth that he was very interested in helping the poor and healing the sick, and he wants us to be interested in the exact same things. Well, in this Do Group project, we're going to get an opportunity to help people that have a terrible diagnosis of HIV positive and those with full-blown AIDS. Bernard Masandu has a ministry to those with HIV. Let me just take a moment here and ask Chuck and Tammy to tell us, who is Bernard?
We've had a pleasurable time working with Bernard for many, many years, probably about 7 years, 8 years now. And we've actually had the privilege of going with him into the slums of Kwaranda in Kenya, Africa, and seeing the victims that he works with. It's quite difficult, actually, to go into these situations for us just on an occasional basis, where Bernard works on it every single day. He has been able to put aside the sorrow, the anxiety of working with people with HIV/AIDS, and the disabling, opportunistic viruses that come with it. And he just continues to work. He shows the love of God. He gives hope to these people who literally have no hope. He goes into the slums and where people are just thrown away, and he goes in and actually touches them. He touches them and touches their lives, and he tells them about Jesus. He's a guy that just is full of godly spirit, and he wants to continue doing this work and making a difference until the Lord meets him and takes him home.
We've probably all read a lot about the good efforts that have been made to provide HIV medication to Kenya and other parts of Africa. So aren't HIV issues a thing of the past in Kenya?
HIV/AIDS in Kenya was going down for many years. And what happened is that the government, although providing so-called free medications, they started selling them on the black market. So people were going to get their AIDS medications, and they either weren't getting them or they were getting placebos. So what happened is that the virus stayed active. What happens in Kenya is that because of the poverty, no jobs are available, that the men will go into the big cities. So they come from the villages, go into the big cities. There, sorry to say, they'll sleep with multiple women, and then they'll take the AIDS virus back into the village. Now in Kenya, it is common to have 2, 3 wives. And so you spread that AIDS virus to those 2, 3 people. And so honestly, over the last few years, AIDS has been climbing again in Kenya from a combination of not being able to get the proper medication, definitely not the first-degree medication that we have here in the United States. Even if they do get it, it's the 3rd, 4th generation back medication, and just an immorality based in poverty, that these men will come back, give it to their wives, multiple wives, and so they die first, the wives start dying off, the children are then the victims, and they're left. And through Bernard's ministry, that's where he comes in, and he's the father to many in Kenya.
There are hundreds of things that Bernard does to help HIV victims, but what task has he asked us to help with?
One of the things that Ben enjoys doing every year is a Christmas party, and this involves several hundred families, and specifically it's a treat for the families that can get chapati. Chapati is like a flour tortilla that they make in Kenya, and not very many people can have this. So it is a treat for these families to have chapati once a year, at least once a year.
And how he presents it is, first of all, he presents the gospel. In everything that he does, he presents the gospel, and even in giving this Christmas treat to the families, he presents the gospel. And of course, it's the celebration of Jesus' birthday. So we're celebrating Jesus' birthday. And these families are families that definitely do not have hope. They do not have the funds to do this. So they're actually looking towards Ben and saying, wow, are we going to be able to participate in this program again this year? He is up to 350 families that have signed up for the program. All of these have something to do with HIV/AIDS, PLAWAs as they're known, people living with HIV/AIDS. And this year, he set that goal of 350. It's $7 he's calculated, $7 US per family to be able to buy the ingredients and then deliver them to all the families. And so we'd love to go ahead and assist him in reaching that goal of the 350 families this year.
So, Chuck and Tammy, how is this a ministry? How does it show the love of God?
Well, basically, everything that our ministry does is around Jesus Christ. We believe that no matter what happens here during this stay on this earth, it's insignificant to the eternal consequences of what we do. So when we live out the gospel, literally giving these people hope for small things, like chapati for Christmas, then we try to get them to see the bigger hope that comes in Jesus. The chapati will be eaten, there'll be a celebration, Jesus' birthday will be remembered, but what happens the next day? And that's really important to us at Saved by God's Grace, and I know Ben has the same feeling. And so when we're given this chapati so that they'll be able to celebrate with their families, the next day Ben's still following up with these families. He still has a monthly meeting with these families and brings them in to continue to give them hope that somebody cares, that they're just not being abandoned, it's just a once-a-year type thing. And we appreciate working with Ben in that capacity because, again, that's what Saved by God's Grace is all about, showing the love of Christ, living out the gospel message.
So, what can we do to contribute to this project?
Basically, we've always made it fairly easy for anybody that is moved to give to the organization to do so. The rest of this presentation will actually have a very detailed message on how to go about it. But in general, we have a website set up at www.savedbygodsgrace.org. And at that website, there's a Donate Now button. You can press that Donate Now button, and it will lead you through, and the instructions are just to follow on how to go ahead and donate. If you'd rather, you can get back with Don Miles, and Don is doing a collection for it also. He can take checks and get them deposited into our ministry, made out to Saved by God's Grace. Or you can send them to our mailbox at Saved by God's Grace, 4410 West Union Hills Drive, Suite number 7, Glendale, Arizona, 85308. Any of these ways will make sure that that money gets to this program and give these people a great Christmas.
If you're being led to contribute, go to www.savedbygodsgrace.org, and click the Donate Now button. Once you've entered your information and the contribution amount, please go to the box marked Allocation and select Other. Please use comment box below. That's one of your drop-down options. Then drop down to the Comments or Questions box and write Do Group, Donation to Support HIV Ministry.
Well, you just want to thank everyone at the small group. We have enjoyed being a part of it, and Chuck and I are moving back to Michigan, so we are going to miss everyone at small group and at church and just our friends, but we will definitely be keeping in touch. And please, if you have any questions or if you have anything that you want to discuss with us in regards to the ministry, you can always contact us at the website.
Yeah, we believe it's really important. The ministry has never been about Tammy or myself. And no matter where we are, the ministry continues. As a matter of fact, when we came back from Kenya, the ministry is totally being run by Kenyans. And so we're just kind of overseeing it from over here, speaking at engagements, and getting people like yourself continually involved. So the ministry goes on, and there's a lot of projects out there that we do every single month, and we have just so much appreciated your participation, but even more we appreciated your friendship. It's been amazing out here with Desert Breeze for the last 20 years, being in the small groups, and we've certainly enjoyed being with you, being with Don and Valerie, and we want that relationship to continue, and we'll definitely stay in contact. We appreciate you all, we love you, and thanks.